Hey everyone, this is Nicole of NicoleTheLawyer.com, and I am here with Leslie J of Talking Outside the Box. And I'm super excited because she was recently in one of my programs, and during the program we introduced a lot of different strategies to help you just get stuff done in your business, to help you actually take action on all the things you've wanted to do, move out of learning mode and move forward. And some of the people have had really, really good results, and I thought it'd be helpful to talk about which strategies were most helpful for them. So Leslie, tell us a little bit about your business.
So I'm a therapist, mental health counselor in New York, and thanks to you and your kind of breaking out of that therapist mold, I've really tried to start thinking about expanding my business and doing other things more on the non-face-to-face therapy aspect. So I'm expanding and trying to do other things to kind of brand myself as not just a therapist, but someone who can help other helpers in, the field of self-care and mental wellness, not just in a therapy aspect, but in like a coaching kind of aspect.
I love it. I love it. I love when people really start to get creative with their businesses and, don't go along with this common step by step. This is what I have to do,
Exactly.
And I think in terms of your business model, it's good to do that. But in terms of what makes you get stuff done, sometimes it is confusing because we do have to go back to the basics, which is kind of what we did in the coaching program. So tell me a little bit about what your business was like. What were your processes like for getting stuff done before the program?
So my processes were do it when I feel like it, wait for creativity to come in a natural form.
Right.
Nothing really
Get in the mood.
Exactly. Wait for something to happen rather than being like, okay, I'm going to do this.
Right.
And I'm still struggling with that, specifically with writing, but just kind of getting in this bigger picture mindset, which you always say, think bigger. Don't think for what your business is now. Think for what you want it to be. So that was always really, really helpful for me to think, all right, I don't want it to be just a reactive kind of process. I want it to be thought out and kind of systematic, so I'm not stressed out all the time.
Right. And I think even when, you do struggle with something being more concrete and more specific with your writing schedule. And I have to say, writing is still one of the things too that I am not great at, getting done in advance, unfortunately. That's really still the one thing that I'm working towards myself in my own business on improving. But I think when you get some of the other things in place, it just makes that piece so much easier, because then it's not everything all over, throwing up balls in the air and trying to catch them all at the same time.
Totally agree. Yeah, absolutely. That's just one piece. There was a lot of other things that really helped with thinking about what I want to earn this year, how I want my business to look. And that was really, really helpful to think about that in a concrete way.
Yeah. How did you feel about choosing a specific income goal? Because I think that, so many people don't choose one, because they're afraid of not reaching it, but then it's you're never really working towards anything.
And that's what's so hard, because it's one of these things that nothing's going to happen if I don't reach the goal. There's no consequence, so to speak.
Right.
And I'm not the type that's going to feel ashamed or feel down on myself, but it helps to think, what was really helpful for me is chunking out, what does it actually mean to make this money? What do you actually need to do? It wasn't just this made up number in my head. It was, this is what I used to make, and I want to make more than that. So in order to do that, I need to see this many clients. I need to have this many weekly clients, and I need to do this many speaking engagements and have this overall kind of plan, rather than it being this, well, it would be nice if this could happen. Right. So that was really helpful. It is scary because it's something that it's attainable, but if it happens, it's going to be oh my God, I can do this.
Right. And, I think it's just even working out like you said, once you chunk it down and you work out the numbers and what you need to sell to make it happen, it's already I can do this.
Yep.
It switches everything, because before it is usually we choose our goals sort of randomly. And it's based on maybe our expenses and things like that and what we want to make for our quality of life, but there's no really what actually needs to happen. And I think that's a big switch from when you have a job, because when you have a job, it's that's your salary. That's
exactly.
it. And like, it doesn't matter how hard or little you work, there's no, like, if I do this thing this many times or have this many clients, I can reach my goals. And I think that, this is definitely a big switch in terms of looking at your goal and really realizing how attainable it is. And then breaking it down and getting the exact step-by-step strategy to make that goal happen.
Yep. And I started using the Lucky Bitch Money Tracker app.
Oh, yeah,
so that's really cool too, to put it in there and be like, wow, like this month I am already close to we did like a realistic mid and high, and I'm already at my realistic.
Oh, so, that's awesome.
I know. It's really exciting to put it in there and see. It's like, this is so not hard. I could do this.
Right. Yeah. And that's still in the beginning stages of using these processes. When you really have them, down pat, it's going to be so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
So what are a couple of other changes or improvements like you've seen, in terms of like your day or how you feel now about your business?
So I've noticed that I start to kind of think about things in a more realistic manner. Like it's like we do with our clients, all right, well, what's your goal? What are 3 steps that you're going to take to get to your goal? Right. And you did that. That was one of the steps. Like, what are you actually going to do now? Not something that you want to happen later, something that's realistic now. And one of those things was to publish something or submit something to be published in Elephant Journal. And I did it, and it got published. And it was like, this is amazing. I need to actually sit down, write it, have the balls to submit it
for so long.
It really is. And it's so sad, right? For a year, I've been like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And then I just sat down and said, all right, I'm going to do it. And gave myself the timeline, which was something that was really helpful too. I did like a blueprint for my business for how I want the first 6 months to look. And that was one of my January goals. So I held myself accountable and did it.
Right. And you survived it.
Yeah, exactly. And I want to do it again. And it's such a positive reinforcer to be like, okay, this isn't that scary. This doesn't have to be that big a deal. And that was one of my big blocks.
So fear was your big block.
Yep. It's not even fear of failure. It's more like fear of success. Like fear of, what if this actually works out, and like this could really be my life. It's so far from, like you're mentioning, like this, I never had a 9-to-5 kind of job, but this therapy job where I'm only getting paid for the clients I see. So it's very far away from that. Yeah. And it's like liberating in an exciting and scary way.
Right. Absolutely. And I think it's interesting because I think that one of the things is that we think like, I just want my own business. I want freedom, etc., which is really great. And believe me, that was my major driver too. But then it's sort of almost like not too much freedom, but like we almost ruin the freedom because we're stressed all the time because we're really not doing stuff or getting stuff done. So it's like, instead we're, instead of having like a few solid hours of getting work done, we're like spending all day like thinking about the work. So it's really bad that we're not getting stuff done.
Exactly. So it's helpful too to think, like one of the things you mentioned was doing certain things on certain days or certain things like once a month or once a week. Just in the effort of kind of streamlining your time. And that's been really helpful for me too. That's been something that I dedicate Mondays and Tuesdays to like seeing my clients. Because I do notice, and I never thought about that before, when I'm in the mode of writing, I need to continue writing. When I'm in the mode of seeing clients, I need to continue seeing clients. Like doing things in a more systematic way that's so much less stressful for me.
And it really is getting consistent, and I think that was the hardest thing for me too, is like, I felt that consistency would take away my freedom at first when I started my business. And it's really like what's brought it really back and given me more freedom because, I think it gives us a sense of security and, there's so many ways you can get off track when you have a business and not really stay on the path to reaching your goals.
Yeah. Very true.
Like it's so much easier, when you get yourself back on track and you have that thing of like, if I do these things and something will happen, I'll start to get results, or maybe I won't get results, but I'll know that I was being consistent so that, now I can tweak things a little bit.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to see how the rest of 2017 goes for you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for telling us a little bit about what strategies have been most helpful for you in getting your business started off on the right track for your goals this year.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. We'll talk soon.
All right. Bye, Nicole.
Bye.